Once again, we are back. Like always. Okay, so if we're set to enter Numenon's restricted archives with a minimum of fuss, then we must secure the permission of the Forum. First, however, we shall need to enlist the cooperation of a member to broach the matter on our behalf. Who do you think might be inclined to assist us? No one springs to mind? What of Scholaric Montajan? He did come to Graha's defense during the inquiry, after all. I mean, it's a good start. To settle, let us head to the phenomenon and see if he's willing to help us once more. Oh, she's accompanying us! Yay! Ishtola. Ishtola. Wait, I'm stupid. Yeah, there's that's the Alliance raid. Wait, if we teleport, does Y'shtola disappear? Oh, Wandering Minstrel. Let's find out. Let's test. No, yay! She's actually here! Alright. I apprenticed to Master Matoya at the age of 7 and labored under her tutelage for a full decade. I never had the chance to attend the studium. Neither did Thancred, as I recall. Soon after Master Louis Spot took him in off the street, he was put in the care of another Archon. His was a rigorous and practical education in the arts of espionage and survival. I sometimes wonder what my life would have been like if I had pursued studies here instead. Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures, or should I wonder as well? Tea at the last stand after a day of lectures? Oh, that does sound lovely. Afternoons with friends, spent sipping tea and debating theories. Still, I wouldn't give up my time with Master Matoya for the world. The dank cave I studied in was about as far from the bright, airy halls of academia as one could get. But it was a wondrous, magical childhood nonetheless. Aww. That's really sweet. Alrighty. No, wrong person. Ah, visitors, and quite esteemed ones at that. What may I do for you? Pray forgive the intrusion, Scholaric, but we were hoping you might help us secure permissions to enter Numenon's restricted archives. Oh ho! No furtive forays into the stacks this time, huh? I applaud this newfound sense of propriety, yet in all this wide world of comparative serenity, what so compels you to disturb a vault of forbidden wisdom? Fascinating. I had no idea such a technique existed. I would have been surprised if you had. If my assumption is correct, the research left behind by House Demir has lain dormant in Charlian's archives for many centuries. And if you unearth this research, what then? Surely you don't intend to cross over into the void. That is, in fact, precisely what we intend. To what end, pray tell? To develop a method of traversing the rift, for one that I might keep my word. For one that I might keep my word to a distant friend. Sentiment aside, I have journeyed to the end of existence. I have heard, felt, and thought endlessly about the truth of our world and the echo of its future, and yet I want to understand everything, to unravel it all down to its very last secret. What scholar worthy of the name wouldn't force open a void gate or two if a grand revelation was a promised reward? Ah, marvelous, and audacious proposal worthy of Master Matoya herself. And after hearing the whys and the wherefores, I, for one, do not believe you would use the knowledge for ill. I see no reason to present your request to the Forum's consideration. Although your petition would be better received if you also had the support of another well-placed acquaintance. Why, Master Fortunato, of course. He could hardly ignore an earnest request from his dear children's most treasured comrades. I was hesitant to approach him directly, but there is no denying that having Master Fortunato on our side would tip the balance in our favor. Very well, we will pay a visit to the Levier estate and plead our case. We're gonna show up and he's just gonna be like, no, not you guys again. One last thing before you go. I would consider it a personal favor if you might share with me the discoveries you make in the void. My appetite for knowledge is every bit as insatiable as yours, I'd wager. So if you can see your way to indulging an old man's curiosity... Of course, Galaric. We'll be sure to pass on any revelations. Okay. Ow! Right into the table. Fuck. I dashed right into there. My fucking shins are gone. Levier estate. Levier estate. Oh, Y'shtola! I forgot she was following us. Here we go. Levier estate. Master Avery, Mistress Y'shtola, how may I be of service? We've come to speak with Master Fortunato. Is he home by any chance? Yes, the master is in residence. I shall inform him that he has guests. Well. Amelians, I forget her name, if it's Amelians or Amelians. Amelians? I'm gonna say Amelians. Would invite you inside for tea, but I assume this is not a social visit. You would have some matter of import to discuss. Then, pray proceed. You have my full attention. Well, I suppose I should praise you for following the proper protocols this time around. Scholaric Montaigne expressed much of the same sentiment, I assure you. Will not be tempted to circumvent the forum's authority again, unless it is absolutely necessary, of course. Of course. You do understand that the restricted archives are restricted for good reason, yes? If no pressing need exists, then why risk the consequence of employing this forbidden knowledge? For a brother who misses his sister, she was his guardian and his friend, a selfless hero who crossed the rift between worlds to save her homeland from horror and suffering. But the brother has given up on thoughts of reunion. He spends his efforts elsewhere, watching over a people yet healing from the flames of the final days, loyal to his duty while betraying the longing in his heart. It is no vital mission, perhaps, reuniting these siblings, but it feels a worthy cause to pursue, all the same. As one who feared losing his own loved ones and spent years in research to prevent it, surely you appreciate how painful such a separation must be. Reflections are still very much a mystery to us. Offering to share your experiences in the first should constitute a fair exchange for our cooperation. Do not celebrate just yet. The forum still must be convinced. I will add your request to the list of today's deliberations and deliver the decision to you at the Valdesian Annex. Man, I hated Fortunato, like, at first. Like, absolutely despised him. And for good reason. I mean, he literally disowned his own kids right in front of us, like, the first time we met him. But then after, like, now I'm like, yeah, no, he was doing what he thought was the best thing in that situation, yada yada, you know, so it's like, well, what can we do, right? So, what did the forum decide? To put it bluntly, Master Matoya has burned some bridges here in Charlian and salted the earth for good measure. When it became clear that her student was the petitioner in question, well, no few members voiced their discontent. Then the chamber was reminded, in no uncertain terms, I might add, of the incredible debt we owe you and your companions. Aww, he spoke up for us. Aww. That served to silence the grumbles and stiffen a few spines, and it was agreed that allowing you entry to the archives was the least we could do in return. This is wonderful news. Thank you both for speaking on our behalf. Yes, well, as I am sure you are aware, this permission was not extended lightly. Forbidden knowledge is to be treated with the utmost caution, and there will be repercussions if it is not. I wish you well in your endeavor and bid you good day. He's like, I'm out of here. Never the same, that one. Uncompromising. Aye, but that very stoicism is exactly what Charlian needed to guide it through not one, but 2 exoduses. That went rather well, I think. As a child, I dreamed up any number of schemes of getting my hands on those forbidden tomes, and now I can simply walk through the door. Our focus will be on finding House Demir's research notes, of course, but the thought of so much knowledge at my disposal has me feeling a bit giddy. Aww. Alright, restricted reading. Montajane is waiting to offer you further instructions. You'll be heading directly to the archives from here, I presume. You presume correctly. Then you'll want to speak with the index page when you arrive. It's been instructed to grant you access to the restricted section. Excellent. Once again, we thank you for all your help. Oh, it was my pleasure, believe me. May you find the knowledge you seek. Shall we? Yay, let's go. Oh yeah, that's the alliance room. Yeah, no, it'll be faster. On foot. I'm forcing your Stola to run. Wait, you can hop up here? Hold on. Oh yeah, you can. Hell yeah! Shortcut. To think the set of instructions I laughingly imagined may actually exist, but yalms away from where you found me napping. If I had known Azadal's exploit sooner, I could have well saved myself days of research. Even a children's book might have pointed me in the right direction. To achieve the impossible, one must needs be flexible of mind and look beyond conventional wisdom, a lesson that had already been learned, but clearly not taken to heart. Hey, it's another one of my friends. Archon Stola and guests identified. Do you wish to proceed into the restricted archives? Follow me if you would. Watch your step and please note that the use of naked flames is discouraged. Good thing I'm not a black mage. Ooh, there's music! Ooh.
If House Demir's notes are to be found anywhere, it will be here. Let us begin.
Oh, this is so cool. The music. It's Gooball, but like remixed. Today, in a world not my own, I met the most beautiful void-born creature. She was so unlike her ravenous brethren, eyes blazing not with hunger, but trembling like a candle's flame, threatening to flicker out any moment. I wonder if she is even the proper word. Such distinctions seem inconsequential, insignificant even. All that matters is the love I feel for this exquisite, transcendent being. Though you're tempted to read more, this does not seem to be the volume you're speaking. Is that a fucking like R18 book? Like a forbidden love between a goldsmith and his creation or something, you know? In the year 1564 of the 6th astral era, the Amalsha summoned Ifrit, their patron god. The count described the being as a gigantic lizard-like being with a potent command of higher aspects and magics. This is not the book we want, so I am not going to be reading through this. Yep, this is not the volume. There's one over here. Can we actually hop up these stairs? Or steps? No, we can't. Damn. Right, let's check this one. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The following pages detail an advanced method for manipulating rifts spanning apertures as devised by Nuajan, the 9th patriarch of the House Demir. We present these research notes to the faculty of Charlian Studium as both a token of our friendship and an expression of our boundless admiration. You appear to have located the forbidden volume you seek. Kristola will need to make the final confirmation. Kristola, I have a book. I have something you'd like to show me, do you? My apologies. I flipped open but a single book and was completely absorbed by the contents. Here you go. Well done, Avery. I think you may have found our prize.
Yes, the ether signature is unmistakable. I've felt the traces of House Damir's resonance many times at the Great Work. Time to see what all the fuss was about.
Oh, atmoses.
Among the ranks of the VOIDSENT, there exist entities with the power to call forth their brethren from beyond. The species known as atmos, however, is uniquely prodigious in this regard. From its distended maw, it can expel an endless procession of void-born creatures, a talent which sorely tested the Radiant Host in its battles against these abominations. Surmising that the entity itself was acting as a void gate, we endeavored to capture a small specimen and subsequently examine its physiological structure. Our findings revealed that the atmos had absorbed a planar fissure into its own flesh, which it could expand at will into a functioning gate.
Ooh, interesting. It's a living void gate, basically.
Upon further analysis, we identified an ethereal wave pattern emitted during this process. A pattern we were able to emulate by passing crystal-stored ether through a specially designed prism. We proceeded to embed said prism into an arcane simulacrum, thus completing what we have dubbed our artificial atmos. How could I have been so blind to the possibilities? This species, not to mention its ability to summon VOIDSENT, has been discussed among academics for years now. Just before the advent of the 7th Umbral Calamity, we received reports of atmos sightings from every corner of Eorzea. Surely you've at least heard the tales.
I've been swallowed by an atmos before.
And still, House Daemir went and built a mock Atmos of their very own. I'm not surprised the Archons consigned their work to a restricted archive. It was no easy task, but at last we've unearthed the volume we've been searching for. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tempted to stay longer. See what other forbidden titles might be lurking on these shelves. Ah, but that would be abusing the very special privilege we've been granted now, wouldn't it? Better not.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So they basically built their own atmos. As much as I would love to start crafting the atmos, I'm afraid this is far outside my field of expertise. Fortunately, we know a Hannish alchemist who would be delighted to involve herself in our House Demir project. Our business here has concluded for the moment. Please pass on our regards to the forum. Your message will be conveyed. Should you wish to indulge in more forbidden literature, I will be here. Patron mode disabled. Security mode engaged. If anyone can help us, Nidhana can. I say we return to Thavnir and look for her at the Great Work. Not gonna lie, I was looking at these markings on the wall right here, and they immediately reminded me of the Vuln Up stacks that you get. So that's fun. Right. The Great Work. Over there. Hi Nidhana, it's been a while. How are you? Your soul tells me you are pursuing a most fascinating study and that you want me to be a part of it. Yeah. I have no doubt that you'll be interested. This research log should speak for itself. Will it now? By the sisters, this is the mark of House Demir. I never even knew such a work existed. You should. It was sequestered in Numenon's restricted archives, after all. It was, but that means every word within is forbidden knowledge. A forbidden tome filled with forbidden knowledge, and you put it right into my unsuspecting hand? I can hardly wait to read it. Aww. I love Nidhana. I love her so much. To think that the Demir were developing such marvelous techniques so long ago. How many innovations have been lost over the centuries? I wonder. Now that you've glanced over the notes, what say you to helping us build a new mock atmos? I say yes, 1,000 times yes. Work on a Demir project that had even the redoubtable scholars of Charlian trembling in their sandals? No alchemist of the great work could resist. You are a woman after my own heart. Well, I suppose I should ask, what do you mean to do with this big-mouthed simulacrum once we've built it? Go in it! So there's a secret void gate, and it's sealed in the ruins at the bottom of the bounty. Today is a day of revelations indeed. If the purpose of our man-made atmos is to expand the hidden portal, then I will need to see it for myself, I think. Manipulating rift-spanning apertures is not the sort of thing you want to attempt without first taking into account every single factor. Then by all means, accompany us to the vault. I plan to lead us back there shortly once we finish gathering the components I require. Charlian's markets provided the raw aquamarine and pure water crystals, but I might need help obtaining small quantities of astrally infused water. For such a liquid, you need to go no further than the font of Maya. The ascetics of old once favored the place for their meditations, and the water which pools there now is known to enliven the flow of ether. That sounds perfect. If you'd be so kind as to fill a flask at the pool, I will petition Vitra to join us. The idea I have in mind won't amount to much without his authority to command the Void Gate. Shall we be about it then? We meet back here anon. So much reading. My mouth is parched. Okay. All the way over there. It'd be really funny if the world boss fate spawned. Haha, hee hee. Hi there. The person was just gathering. I flew right over their heads. Maybe spooked them a bit. Here we are. Feels so weird not seeing the tower in the background. I remember. Funny Daniel. Do you have that flask for me? Yep. Indeedy I do. Sorry, that was my throat making a noise. Yes, this should suffice. Thank you, Avery. Let me see the speed. Okay, I'm gonna end the episode here, and then we're gonna pick back up in the next part. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.